We know that copyrights are a type of personal property right that grants the copyright owner control over the use and transfer of a copyrighted work. The question here is how to transfer a copyright. Let's learn about this subject. Copyright and related rights can be transferred by two means, assignment and licensing. Assignment is when a copyright-related right is transferred from the owner to other organizations, individuals under a contract, or under relevant legislation. Licensing is when an owner of an IP right gives another permissions to use that right for a specific period of time with a specific purpose. It may sound confusing, so let me make it clear by clarifying the distinction between assignment and licensing. As you can see, they both are the transfer of rights from one entity to another, and both have maximum restrictions on the transfer of moral rights between entities. However, there are some differences between them. First, while assignment gives full ownership of the rights to the assignee, licensing only gives the permission to use a defined rights. Secondly, as a general rule, only an assignee of a copyright or related rights can sue for infringement and not a licensee. But in many cases, an exclusive licensee is given the right to sue. In licensing, royalties paid under a license are deductible business expenses of the licensee and comprise ordinary income for the licensor. In assignment, payments made for an assignment are capitalized by the assignee, and payments received for an assignment may be taxed as capital gains to the assigner. That's the definition. Now move on to the ownership of copyright and license assignment agreements. Besides the normal cases, there are three cases that I would like to specify. First one is the case of commissioned works. In most countries, the creator owns the copyright, and the person who ordered the work only has a license to use the work for the purposes for which it was commissioned. The second is work created by an employee. If a work was created by an employee within the scope of his employment, the employer automatically owns the copyright, unless otherwise agreed. But in some countries, the transfer of rights to the employer may not be automatic and may have to be specified in the employment contract. The last one is the case of works created by several authors. Where work is under joint ownership, the assignment or license must be agreed upon by all co-workers. In case a work is composed of separate parts, right holders may assign or license their rights to their separate parts to other organizations or individuals. To transfer copyright or related rights, a contract must be established in writing and include the following principle contained below: names and addresses of the assigner and the assignee, or names and addresses of the licensor and the licensee. Assignment or licensing basis. Payment price and mode. Rights and obligations of the involved parties. Liability for contract breaches. Sounds easy, right? But after you sign the contract, the copyright still can be terminated. Sometimes an author transfers copyright to someone, and then later the author reapplies it through a process known as terminating a transfer. As a very general rule, transfer terminations occur between 28 and 56 years after the first publication. To make it easier to understand, here are some examples of transfer of copyright and related rights. In December 2016, Trade Publishing House signed a licensing contract with publishing group John Wiley & Sons Incorporation to have exclusive right to translate the book Marketing 4.0 by Philip Kotler into Vietnamese. K Plus has bought the Premier League 2016 to 2019 from MP and Silver. Therefore, K Plus owns the rights to broadcast the Premier League, which includes all 380 matches in 3 seasons and a number of weekend games. Warner Bros. Has bought the copyrights to copy Tom and Jerry's image to put it on products such as clothing, pens, or books. Singer Đàm Vĩnh Hưng has bought exclusive rights to perform the song Trái tim si tình from musician Phú Quốc Việt. The contract between the two parties have clearly stated that Đàm Vĩnh Hưng has exclusive right to perform the song both domestically and internationally.